Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching DEJI360, and today we're looking at quite a number of issues. At this very moment, we're talking about the controversial $9.3 million cash for arms deal. Liberos, what's your take on this? I mean, you heard GT saying the Nigerian government should basically just set up a legal team and a diplomatic team, go to South Africa, explain this, and get this resolved.
For me, you know, there are two issues here. One, the 9.3, the other one, the 5.7.
Yeah.
Totaling 15 million.
And that's quite a lot of money to carry, to be candid.
I'm telling you, you remember that's the same amount of money Bori attempted to bribe Ribadu.
And I'm quite surprising that we just could not do this deal across, do some kind of wire transfer. Why go with the cash?
That's the same thing GT said. A country that prides itself as, you know, promoting cashless economy would rather, I've listened to arguments from those in government that yes, if you are frustrated from buying arms, you know, through the legal market, you can buy through the black market. But nobody is saying don't buy through the black market, but the mode of, you know, buying arms through the black market is another thing altogether. So for me, basically, the $9.3 million, I think somebody was trying to launder money for somebody, and it's a deal that went bad, and that's why it is impossible for us now to raise a legal team or raise a diplomatic team to go face South Africa. And so it's the best we could do here is to make noise and grandstand and say all sorts. Even the South African ambassador to Nigeria, as at yesterday, said he had not even been invited by the Nigerian government over this issue. And
that's quite surprising, because you would expect that the government would have summoned.
Exactly. So he said, as at yesterday, said that he's not been invited. So which means that government is not even ready to sit down to begin explaining its own angle in the matter. And then as for the 5.7, I had also followed that angle. The only problem I have with that one from what we learned, was transferred.
Yeah, exactly.
To South Africa, and there was a shopping list signed off by the National Security Advisor, which showed that there was a procedure that they had followed earlier, that they failed to follow, you know, with the 9.3, which that's why I told you that the 9.3 is it. And the South African authority also said.
The question is, why would the government now decide to do a second transaction when the first transaction had not been sorted out?
What actually happened is the first this one you call second transaction was actually the first transaction.
So
which means, because what is said,
are you trying to say now that you know, this second transaction was actually initiated just to serve as a justification for the first and probably cover up
because
something?
if you listen to the story from South Africa, that the company that was to broker the arms deal, their license had expired since May.
Exactly.
And so were in the process of renewal of license, and that process, the renewal process, the application had been in the box. And so, since they couldn't renew, they attempted, you know, repatriating the money back to Nigeria, which goes to show that that money had been in South Africa even before this 9.3 million. It's just that we didn't know. But my problem really in all of this is, if you know that you have all of this problem with South Africa and you truly want to do arms deal and you need it so badly, we know that government, you know, also ensure that there's due diligence in all transactions. Why do you decide to give a contract to a company whose license had expired? We expected government to have done its due diligence, sort out the license issue before even wiring or transferring any money to any
and does it suggest the South African government was not carried along at all in this deal?
From this transaction, from the explanation so far, like I said, in 9.3 million, the South African authority said they are not aware. Even their agency, the regulatory agency, also said they are not aware.
And they should have been aware.
Even our customs here are not aware that such an amount of money was ferried out of Nigeria.
Because our custom, it's against our law anyway for such a huge amount of money.
So it wouldn't have cost us anything to at least declare such an amount that this is coming from the Nigerian government. After all, you know, you do this thing government to government. But to violently, you know, disobey with impunity the law of another country and expect them to fold their hands just because we do the same thing here, for me it's a stretching, you know, the whole thing beyond limit. But really, like I said, even the second transaction, the 5.7 trillion that the government had attempted to explain procedurally that, look, we followed procedure. And to some extent, you will say, yes, from the explanation given, there were actually procedure followed. But my problem, like I said, is why you award a contract to a company that is not competent to do it. Competent in the sense that you don't have a license. To do that transaction. Because sort out your license.
Because if you had done your due diligence, you would
discover that.
All right, gentlemen. Just before we go, there's one other issue I want to bring. I mean, we just can't fully discuss some of these issues. But one other issue I want to bring up before we go, quite important and very important to me, and that is the controversial arrest of an AIT reporter by the AIG of Zone 7. I believe you all heard that story. Now, the AIG Zone 7, quite a controversial man, I must say, that's AIG Joseph Mbu, actually got this reporter arrested because the reporter referred to him as controversial on a program like this. The reporter was having a program like this and referred to Joseph Mbu as controversial, and Joseph Mbu wasn't happy. He got him arrested, charged him to court. The court released this reporter, and Joseph Mbu ordered that the reporter be brought to him so that he'd be taught some lessons. Let me start from you, Mr. Ogunye. What's your take on this? It's a lot of people have said, look, what this AIG did was in bad taste.
Look, Joseph Mbu ought not to be in the police force. As bad as the police force may be, I think that Joseph Mbu has gone to the extreme. And for me, if Nigeria were a decent society, he ought not to last a day longer in the police force.
Can I just pause you there? Can I just pause you there because you said that? Let's just take a listen to him because this man has a different opinion of himself. Let's take a listen to him. What he said of himself some time ago. Let's take a listen.
I'm educated. I went to one of the best universities in Nigeria, University of Lagos. I read political science. I came out with a 2-1 far back 1983. My advanced level is University of Cambridge, London. I attended only one university. I did not attend a state university. I was never rusticated in any during my school days. I did not attend 2 schools. I did not come out with a pass degree or a 3rd class, and I was never a cultist. I'm a decent officer. I'm a pride to the Nigerian police and to the Nigerian nation. Go to my house. Go and see what I've done in my house. They can let the vehicle take you to my house. Go and film the place. I walk everywhere I go. Go to your state. Everywhere I go, that's how I walk. I transform the police, men themselves. I transform the structures, and I transform even the society.
Well, Mr. Ogunye, you just heard him. Let me just explain to you what he said. He said he's a pride of the Nigerian police. He actually studied political science at the University of Lagos, that he didn't attend a state university. He didn't attend 2 universities. He was never rusticated. He made a 2-1, and that he's a pride of the Nigerian police, a pride of the Nigerian nation, and that, you know, he's probably the best police officer the country has ever had in this, in our time.
You know, Joseph Mbu is egocentric, and he has an exaggerated opinion about himself and his achievements. Obviously, he's ingratiating himself to the bosom of power, so that ultimately, out of order, he will pass, be an IGP. And we know the likes of people like that. They're very ambitious and ruthless. Indeed, they commit all sorts of egregious acts just to pander to the whims and caprices of those who are in power, to convince them that they are the best acts that they have in their hand to deal with perceived or actual opponents. And so for me, somebody like that ought not to be in the police force. He may regard himself as the pride of a police force, but what kind of pride is Mbu, who will take on the governor in the public spot? When we're talking about subordinating our military and security forces to civil authority, a governor is part of that civil authority. And I'm telling you, even for that act alone, Mbu ought to have been queried by the Police Service Commission and disciplined. The fact that you have somebody like that not being disciplined and is not even going ahead to arrest a journalist, to settle a personal score, He's not arresting a journalist because the journalist has committed an offense, but because he, the king or emperor, has been abused. You know, so I think that somebody like that in a decent society will have no business being in a police institution. That's my take.
Well, Liberos, I mean, let's be factual here. This journalist did not even abuse him anyway. He basically described him as controversial, and he just wasn't happy with it. Is it a crime to describe someone as controversial?
I'm ashamed of his 2-1, I must say, because if you made a 2-1 in the university as far back as 1983, you should know the meaning of controversial. And you should know also when people say you are controversial. For wherever you had gone, where in all the states you had served, there is always one story about you or the other. And so,
well, he says
glaringly,
he transforms a policeman wherever he goes.
Glaringly, that's his account. It's to me, it's self-egoistic. Beat your drum. But how we view you is a different thing altogether. And so glaringly, the man is controversial. And so for somebody to simply refer to you as a controversial person, to me, it's not an insult. And so if you think it's an insult, I think then somebody should re-examine your certificate. And then also, even if it's an insult, defamation is a civil wrong and not a criminal offense. And to now say, to add insult to injury, you take the man to court, midway you say, look, you withdraw charges, but bring him back.
Let me
teach him a lesson.
And talk to him.
And then, you know, this is the same man that is priding himself as transforming Nigeria, transforming the police, and a pride to the police. When I listen to... I'm telling you, that's what I'm saying.
If you are a school certificate holder, you should know the meaning of controversial. Now, somebody who claimed he had a 2-1 and an AIG does not know the meaning of controversial, and he then went berserk just because he was described as controversial. Perhaps maybe the person could have used something else, not controversial. You know, an adjective that is worse than that. You know, that actually depicts his personality. That is very odious and unacceptable in a decent society. I think that's what should have happened. But Liberals, I can't say more than you have said. I'm thoroughly ashamed of this kind of conduct.
Because he knew what he did was wrong. That was why he could not go further. He got to court and asked the prosecutor to withdraw charges. And then the court made a pronouncement discharging the young man. You said they should bring him back to you. It's only in countries like this that people will behave like this and still remain in the force. You saw what happened between Gordon Brown and a lady that who annoyed him. You're a public officer. As a public officer, you should expect to receive all kinds of barrage of criticism.
Well, probably Mbu is not just an ordinary public officer.
No, but so if he's not an ordinary public officer, and then we should not begin to define the meaning of public officers in Nigeria. That's why I said it can only happen here. And then the man comes out to say he made a 2-1. He did not. To tell you how low his level of reasoning is, that he made a 2-1. He did attend a state university.
So those who attended state universities are...
As if these are criterias. You know, these are criteria for knowing, you know, who a modest person is. You attended state university. Your advanced level was in your advanced level was in Cambridge. And then yet we expect those that schooled in Cambridge to be princely and to behave princely. And yet your behavior depicts that of somebody who grew up in a gutters. This is, like GT said, people like this should be shown the way out of the police force. And that is why the police force, if an AIG could behave like this, what do you expect of an ordinary officer who is not even educated?
The AIG could become IG actually.
Exactly. So somebody who is educated can behave like this. So somebody who is not educated, if you ask him, how are you? He will tell you, you are insulting me. You don't insult the policeman by asking him, how are you?
This is really funny, honestly.
I think that, which is very important, I think that the journalist and his organization and his union, and I'm talking about the NUJ, should not allow this matter to lie low. They should go to court and sue that police officer to get redress, to enforce, because the deed had been done. So when something like this happens and then is superseded by more horrible acts from officialdom, we just tend to forget. I think that a lesson ought to be taught and a lesson has to be learned. And that lesson can be learned by taking this man to court, sue him for damages for what is done. There was a time in this country, DEJI360 and the IGP, Chief Ganifa Emi representing, the IGP was made to apologize to DEJI360 and pay 50,000 naira. Then, I recall, it's reported in one of the law publications of Chief Ganifa Emi, for the unlawful arrest of DEJI360 in those days.
Yeah, recently
also, that was during a military era. And so that when now that we're talking about we are in a democracy, I think that the courts will be eager to aid defenseless citizens against this kind of thing. Because Section 22 of the Constitution makes it very clear. The media has a responsibility to ensure that those who are in government are accountable. And since Mbu is part and parcel of the executive branch, being the police force in Nigeria, I feel that this matter should be submitted to court for adjudication so that redress can be sought and obtained.
Even just recently, the El-Rufai case in Oka, the court just ruled that the DSS should apologize to him. If he had not gone to court to seek redress, we probably would have said, well, the act is passed, so let it just be. But we need to begin to challenge acts like this. In court. We need to test them so that we will know how to, our public officers will know how to behave. Like he said, you know, there should be a lesson taught and a lesson learned. Otherwise, who knows, somebody might come tomorrow who is worse than Mbu, and he will say, well, if Mbu could go scot-free, nothing happened, then I can even do worse. And that's why you find out that once some people, you know, put on the uniform of the Nigerian police or the Nigerian military, they believe that they are above board, they are above the law, and so they can do and undo, and nothing will happen. So it is high time we need to begin to put, you know, people like this of questionable character in check.
Well, thank you very much, gentlemen, for your contributions. Thank you very much for your thoughts. And it's quite surprising that up till this moment, AIG Joseph Mbu has not apologized. And, well, he still thinks what he did was right. But thank you very much for your contribution. JT Ogunye, lawyer and a political affairs analyst, thank you very much for your contribution. Libero Soshama, thank you very much for coming on the program. Thank you very much for watching. I am DEJI360. We're back again next week.